Hello everyone, welcome to Ebasiq YouTube channel. You are watching Django tutorial series. Now we are in episode 6. So in this episode, we will discuss on how to work with static files and media handling in Django. So if you are using CSS files or JavaScript script files or images or user uploaded files, so managing these assets properly is key to any web application. So in this session, I'll show you the difference between the static and the media files, how Django handles them, and how to configure your project to serve them both in development as well as in the production environments. Okay. So what are static and media files? So in Django, static files uh, refers to CSS, JavaScript, or images, which is used by the website front end and which generally doesn't change dynamically. So media files, on the other hand, which are uploaded by the users like profile pictures or documents like that. Okay. So static files will be front-end assets like CSS, JS files, logos, and it will stored inside the static folder. So we will create that static folder. And media files, user uploaded content like images files, which are stored in the media folder. So what we have to do whenever we create a project, and after that, we have to create a static folder here inside my application. And I have created one more folder. Inside that, I'm saving the CSS files like this. And also outside, one more folder, static folder I have created. And media file I have created like this. So inside media, there are avatars folder is there. So that media and avatar folder, inside that I would try to save the user uploaded files. So these are the three things we have to create. The next step is you have to add settings, static file configuration in the settings.py file. So why we have to add here settings.py file, these configurations, because uh, static, if I say static underscore URL is static, so this line, second. So this line, okay, so what it says exactly, so it defines the URL prefix, okay, for serving static files. So when you use this percentage within flower brackets, percentage static, so this will refer path to the file.css like that, okay, in the template. Then Django will output the actual static file with along with the path and the actual, for example, here CSS file or something. Okay, then this tells the browser where you need this file. So look under that particular static URL. Okay, so in our case also, we are actually uh, writing in HTML file to refer that. For example, here I have under my app, I created template folder. So for example, if I say profile, so if I say load static like this, if I call with percentage and open close curly brackets, then it actually telling link relationship style sheet href static css style.css. Okay, like that it is referring. That is one thing. And second thing, uh, in the settings.url we have given this path also, like static root and base dir and static files. That's what we have given. Yeah. So, so here what is happening? This is the final destination folder where Django will gather all the static files when you run. So when you run, or you need to run a command like python manage.py collect static. So when you run that, all the Django will gather all the static files and it will save in this particular folder. Okay, so uh, so this is used only for production purposes. In development, Django serves static files directly from app directories because uh, so in production environment, your static files needs to be served by the web server, like Apache server like that, or uh, whatever server it may be, from one central folder. It is not scattered across the each app. Okay, so that's why. So how it will do, it will collect all the files like my app static, my app style.css, let's say blog static, my blog main.js, and that whatever it may be there, those files will be collected during the when we run this collect static command line. Okay, python manage.py space collect static. Like that, it will be done. So all the files after running that, of the other files will be copied into the static files. Okay, like my app style.css, static files, blog main.js, like that it will replace. And we have wrote one more line, static file dir base base underscore dir static. So this tells, the purpose of this line is, this tells Django about extra locations where it should look for static files during development. So by default, Django only looks in each app static folder. Okay, if you have any global static files which are not tied to app specific app like site-wide CSS or JS, put them in this base dir static and add the folder here. Okay, so the base underscore dir path, that is nothing but it's a path to your project's root directory set at the top of the settings.py file. Okay, so in this file we have already set base underscore dir, which you can see here. This is the path. Okay, so that is, so these three are important settings that you have to do. Now, so just a quick review. So in the development environment, how, I mean, where Django looks for static files means, so each app's static folder plus static files underscore dives folder, it will look the Django environment, development environment, means that is by using default built-in Django dev server. Whereas in production, files collected into the static underscore root, that is via collect static. And these files are served with web servers like Apache, like that. Okay, so that's the thing. Generally, what you can do, the best practice is like keep all the global assets in the static folder, which is defined inside the static files underscore dirs, and keep app specific assets inside each app's static folder. Okay, and never put static underscore root inside your application. It should be separated and dedicated for only collected files. Okay, so that's the thing. And so if you see here in this stable file, so profiles where I have wrote. So in this, if you see, load static I have given here. So what happens here? So Django has a special template tags, as you all know, to help you generate URLs for static files. So this load static imports the static tag library into the template. Okay. So like if I write like that, as I said, link relation equal to style state href static css slash style.css, like that it will so it will help us. Okay. So where you could directly hard code or directly, generally this is the way we can write percentage load static percentage, like that. Okay, so generally we should not hard code. Okay, this is the way dynamically it will check, and it will search for the particular static file which we defined static underscore URL. There it will search and it will give us the path. Okay, so that is a very important thing. So if you give load static, it actually tells Django to enable the static it's percentage static percentage function. So it can generate and collect URLs from files defined in the static files underscore dir or any app specific static folders. Okay, so that's the thing. This is just like importing a helper function into your template, which generates correct environment independent URLs for your static files. Okay, that's the thing. And one more thing in the settings.py file. I said we need to add media also. So media URL and media root also we have to add these two. So here in Django, as I said, static files is for CSS, JS files, image files, and media files may be which are uploaded by the user at the runtime. Okay, so like profile pics, documents like that. So these two settings tell the Django where uploaded files are stored on the disk, that is media underscore root, and how they are accessed by URL in the web browser, that is media underscore URL. So those two things we are defining. Okay, so like this. And so media underscore URL equal to media is nothing but it is a URL prefix where uploaded media files will be accessible. Okay, like it will give the path, let's say media avatar, let's say girish.jpg file, like that. And uh, whereas media underscore root, this is the absolute path on your server where uploaded files are saved. Okay, so base dir is the root of your Django project, and base dir slash media creates a folder named media in your project root directory. Okay, that's what I have shown there. Okay, so when a user uploads, let's say girish.jpg to avatars folder, Django saves it under media underscore root avatars and girish.jpg like that. Okay, so this is what we have to define. Uh, that is one important thing. So in short, media underscore root is nothing but where files live on the server. Media underscore URL, how they are accessed in the browser. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Now, now we have to write a models.py file code. So here, what we are doing, we are first importing Django.db import models. So we are importing the Django's model classes here, the base for all database tables in the Django. So this model contains field types like character field, image field, like that, and other ORM features it will be there. Now I created a class called profile and I'm inheriting models that model. So which actually creates a new Django model called profile here. Now each model maps to the database table. Okay. So now table name will be here. If you see map inside that, it will go my app underscore profile, like that it will create by default. Generally app name plus model name in the lowercase, it will be created. Now name equal to model dot char field max length equal to 100 that was given. Okay. So that actually stores, the char field stores short text strings like names or titles. Max length 100 means we are allowing up to, database will allow up to 100 characters. Okay. Django will also enforce the limit during validation in this case, like name, varchar 100 kind of thing. And after that, we have wrote avatar equal to models.image field upload underscore to equal to avatar. So here we are defining the image field for storing the images. So here we may require pillow library installed, okay, which we can upload to avatars folder. Means when a user uploads an image, it will be stored inside the media root avatars with a file name. Okay, so this media root I showed you earlier in the settings.py file what we have to change. And in the database, only the relative path is stored, like avatar slash girish.jpg. Okay, but the actual image is stored on the disk, and that particular URL helps to retrieve it in the templates. Okay, and now we have defined def underscore string self. Okay, so this is a human readable string format for the object. Okay, it is used in the Django admin interface, Django output. Okay, so it generally returns the profile name here. So without this method, Django would display like profile object one in the admin list. So here, if you write this, then it will display the name. Okay, so after that, it will be mapped to the database. So for that we have to write, as I said, make Python manage.py migrations and Python manage.py migrate. So these two things we have to run. Okay, and then any I mean here the migration database migrations will happen. Okay, so in this case, uh, because this Python model class are not automatically stored in the database, right? So we have to tell Django to create and update the database tables to match our model. So here uh, we define the data structure in models.py just like profile model with the name and avatar we have defined. So these are actually Python classes, but not actual database tables yet. Okay, so that's why uh, Django uses migrations to translate model changes into database schema changes, like create table, alter table, like that. So that's why we called the command Python space manage.py make migrations. Now it detects the changes in your models.py and creates a migration file. A migration file, maybe it is a Python file inside the migrations folder. It contains instructions on how to change the database schema, like that. Okay. And and after that, we have written Python manage.py migrate. So this applies all the pending migration files to the actual database. So what it will do, it will create the database table. It update the existing tables like add column or remove column, like that, and inserts any default data if needed. Okay. So it is just like you can think like it is building the changes from the blueprint in the real database. Okay. So that's why we have to run these two steps, make migrations and migrate. So make migration generates migration files from your model changes, and migrate applies those migration files to the actual database. So this is the difference. Okay. So you have to run these two commands whenever you create a new model, add a new field or an existing model, or change a file type or delete a field or a model. So these are very important. Okay, that's why we have created a profile model with name and avatar. After writing the model, we ran the Python manage.py make migrations and then Python manage.py migrate. So it created the table myApp underscore profile in the database and allowed us to store usernames and upload the file path. So this is what it has done. So make migrations is nothing but writing the construction blueprint. Migrate means actually constructing the building based on the blueprint. It's like that you have to compare the analogy. Okay. So that is one thing. So now after this step, what we have to do? We have to uh, so okay. The next step is we have defined the models, right? So after that, we have to define the form. Okay. So form. So if you see this, you have to create a form.py file. Okay. And if you see the code, very simple code. What we are doing, we are importing the Django forms. So from the Django forms framework. Now Django forms handle any rendering HTML form elements, form fields, and validate the user input, convert input into Python data types, or save into the database from the for model form. Now we also wrote from dot models import profile, right? So this import profile model from models.py in the same app. So this is the model the form will be actually based on. After that, we wrote a class profile form, form.model form. This creates the model form for the profile model. Okay. So now model form automatically create the form fields from the model fields, automatically applies the model validations like maximum length, blank, null, all those, and makes saving to the database by simply writing the form.save. Okay. So now you come here. like this. Form.save, it will save the form. And also here, if you see, here the class meta we have defined. So it is the inner class that defines the metadata about the form. Okay, it tells the Django which model the form is linked to, which fields to include in the form. That's why we write meta like that. And model equal to profile means specifies the this form is linked to the profile model. And Django will look at the profiles, fields, name and avatar and create the corresponding form inputs. Okay, that's why we have given like this. And now fields equals to name and avatar. These are the two fields. So, so we can explicitly list which model should appear in the form. So I mean, if you give fields equal to all, then it includes all the fields of the form. If you want to list only what you need, then give the name like name avatar like that. Okay, name will be text input, avatar will be a file input. Okay, where it is a image field. Okay, so that is the thing. So it generates HTML code for the form. That's it. Now uh, we have to use this under profile form inside the views.py file. Okay, so just like views here. So we have to write this code whenever the user uploaded. So this will be called. Okay. So here what is happening? Importing the profile form we created in forms.py file. And this form is linked to the profile model. So it knows which field to render, name and avatar, and how to validate them. And under upload profile, definition upload profile request, it defines the Django view function named upload underscore profile. So the request here, it contains HTTP getter post form data uploaded files, session info, or any user info, or if logged in like that. And if requested method equal to post, then we are checking if the form was submitted. So HTML forms can use get or send. Okay, get or post. So get sends form data in the URL, post sends data in the request body. So like that. Okay. And form equal to profile form, request.post, request.files. So it creates the instance of profile form with request.post, means all text data from the form, like name field, and request.files, all uploaded files like avatar image. Okay. So without request.files, file upload won't work. Okay. So we have to give this. And it form.is validation, it is doing Django built-in validation like checking the name, length, if file is uploaded in the avatar or not, verifying the file type, like that. It returns true if all the validation is passed. And finally saves the form data in the database with form.save. Since it's a model form, it will create a profile object, save the uploaded file to media underscore root and avatars, and stores the file in the avatar column of the profile table. Okay, so and if else method here, it will create an empty form. Okay, if the page is opened without submission, then it actually renders the form ready for input. Okay, and finally we are returning the render function request upload.html form. So render upload.html with the form variable in the template form.as underscore p, it displays the actual form fields there. Okay, so that is the flow actually. So what happens if the user clicks on upload URL, if we open that form, Django sends back a blank form. Now user fills form, selects the file, clicks submit. Browser sends a post request with text inputs in request.post and files in request.files. And view validates the form. If valid, save to database, save to a disk, and page reloads. Okay. So like that, it happens when you run the upload form. So if you see here, so upload. So now let us take a test one. Now if you see, I'm just uploading one file. Okay, test one upload. Okay, now I'm uploading second file. Okay, so something like this. So upload. So this is also done. Now we have to see the profiles. So now if you see, these are some other files earlier it was uploaded. Now if you see this one, it is loaded, test one and test two, it displayed. Okay, so wherever the files are there, all are uploaded like this. Okay, and uploaded and displayed, fetched from that. So for that, what we have written under profiles.html code. So we have written a code to upload the file. So we are actually, what we are doing here. So before this, let me explain the important thing. urls.py file, okay? So project urls.py file. So here we have to add this line. So this line anyway, if you don't know, see the previous versions of previous episodes sessions. So path upload this we have to give, and here what is happening. So we are importing the settings, okay, and importing the static files, and importing the admin, importing the path, importing the views, and URL pattern list. Now here in this case, path admin.site URLs. So it maps the admin to the Django admin site. Okay, that is a different case. Okay, and now upload slash views.upload profile name equal to upload underscore profile. So it maps the upload in the browser to the upload profile view in the myapp/views.py file. So here URL patterns are about the user facing URL, not the app name. Okay, you can name the path whatever makes sense to you, to the users, like upload slash is more descriptive and user friendly for an uploaded form. Okay, so that's why we have to give this path here, and then uh, whenever we hit this URL, it will load that particular page. Okay, that's the thing. So this setting, and anyway, this already you aware, which I explained in the previous sessions, like index profiles. So, and accordingly, the code we have to write so that it can hit whenever we hit the URL. So it will go to that particular page and loads that particular page. Okay, so home, about, index, like that. And URLs, this is app level URLs, and this is a URLs that we it is a project level URLs. Okay, like that we have to give. Okay, so this is about and other things. So these uploaded profiles, and what we have seen, upload fresh files we can upload here. And we have seen index. Index is just a small theme, and home and about also we have wrote. Okay, so like that. If you don't load anything, home page will load by default. So like that, and you have to make sure, if you see the screen, what I did earlier, I was moving to the virtual environment, and then I have went to scripts folder and activated it, and once again moved to my project folder. Okay, and inside that, what I did, I just ran the code python manage.py run server. So this is what happened. So all these are whatever the requests we have given, it is giving this images like this. Okay, so this is what happened, and this is the server URL which we used to run here. Okay, so with this, I think today in this session, you understood about how to manage static files and media uploads in Django which is essential for any real web application. So in the next coming episodes, we will explore Django models deeper and look into the relationships like one to many or many to one, like that. So we will see. Uh, Thank you for watching my channel. And thank you for watching, especially this Django tutorial series. Okay, and subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your developer friends. Okay, and see you in the next episode. Happy coding with Django. Thank you.